Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. All right. Hope everyone's ready for another exciting day of trading. We do have some news this morning. One was already announced at 9 o'clock. We have another one coming at 10. So let's just remember that as we're going through the opening bell and looking for opportunities early this morning. Let's see who we have. Crypto. Good morning. Good morning, Crypto Queen. D. Anderson, Young, Fuego. Log into my YouTube account for a moment just so I can see the stats. All right. 26 viewers and 10 likes already. Good job, everyone. Good morning, Bob. Oh, okay, we have someone new. Good morning. All right, let's give everyone another minute or so to get in, and then we'll get started. And I promise today I'll finish before the opening bell. Sniper, welcome back. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling better today. What's going on, Fuego? All right, mathematical. Good morning. Bulls or Bears? Well, we'll see. We'll see where we go. As I mentioned, we did have news, so let's lead off with the news for the day. All right, so the S&P/CS composite has already been delivered. It came in under forecast by a couple ticks there, and that was announced just a few minutes ago. We do up at 10 o'clock have the CB consumer confidence as well as the JOLTS job opening coming. Both are high impact at 10 o'clock. So after we receive our opening bell, 30 minutes later, we're going to get another jolt of energy into price action from this news event. So yeah, let's definitely be aware of what's coming and have a plan in action if you're in a position or if you're looking for position at that moment. Friday high breaker. Okay. All right. So if we look at the dollar is still so far, even through yesterday, we didn't manage to break out of this consolidation zone. I did manage to get equal highs, so it equaled the same high from last Tuesday, but wasn't able to break. It contracted by the end of the day, closed back into the zone, and then here we have opening up today, only trading about halfway into yesterday's range so far, and already starting to retrace and look for lower prices. We'll look to see if that continues or if that's just sort of the morning profile. But for now, we're just as we see price, it just looks like it's not ready to break out yet. It does have a solid fair value gap below, which we've seen 6 or 7 wicks into, and each time rejects back above. When it trades above, it rejects back down. So this middle range is sort of where it's been hovering. And we want to see if it breaks out of that soon. Let's see. I think that's all we have on the dollar. Get down to the hourly, see if there's anything. Oops. Right, so during this retracement effort, trying to get back up to those highs, we see it ran into some fair value gaps and failed, pushed downwards. We have the new day opening gap sitting right in the zone. And as of right now, it's trading below the new day opening gap for this hour. Last hour, it traded above, closed. And so far in 20 minutes, we've already traded below. Right, targets below here would be swing low from yesterday evening's open. And if it continues to retrace this fair value gap that's down here from yesterday afternoon, or from actually Friday, right? We've seen it push hard out of it twice. So we stretch this across. If we do see lower prices, expect for price to react in this area. Okay. But let's not forget for the week. I know that's our profile for today, but for the week, we really were expecting for price to run up and try to achieve some highs, and not necessarily the ultimate high there, but at least these highs right here, these equal highs I had marked up that I thought this week we could possibly get up there. And it's a bearish fair value gap. So if price did want to go lower, this would be the target first. So far, it hasn't been willing to do that. But we have a lot of news this week, including today. And so we want to see if one of those news events is what sparks price to break out of that zone that it's in, and either go higher or lower. So it doesn't matter which direction it goes. We just need to know which direction it's headed, so then we can act accordingly with the others. All right, let's move over. ES quickly. All right, so we can see on the weekly, ES has already eclipsed last week's price en route to the ultimate highs from January of 2022. All right, down to the daily. So far, today's candle is retracing. We have what could potentially be a fair value gap at the end of the day. We'll see where the candle closes, but it looks like it might want to close that out. So there is no fair value gap to speak of. And if that's the case, then we'll see ES retrace, down to 49.34, at least 49.34. Let's see. 4 hour, not really nothing. On the 4 hour, it's trading inside of a fair value gap. So again, this purple line is where I thought it would retrace on the daily, just to balance, to make sure there's no fair value gap. So let's see how it reacts when it gets there. 49.34. That was also a point of resistance a couple times as price was moving mid of last week all the way to yesterday. Same as on the previous time frames. We're looking for 49.34 for a reaction there to higher prices. It may not start to pump immediately at 49.34. It may retrace a little deeper. There's a fair value gap here just below. So we also need to watch out for that one. And if it does a deeper retracement, we have the new week opening gap from 2 days ago. And so that may also be a place that it retraces to. So we'll keep those in mind. So 49.34, 49.30, and 49.12 are the levels for ES to potentially retrace to, and then look for a bullish bounce from there. All right, doing good with time. Let me hurry. Weekly, unlike ES, so still have not broken last week's high, but remember last week's high in Nasdaq was the all-time high, which is what ES is trying to do now. So it would not surprise me if Nasdaq didn't want to do that this week, if it just traded in the range and didn't take this purple line over. But with ES looking to make all-time highs, I'm looking for NAS to be the leader, to be the strongest of the two, and to get out in front and potentially take over this high and make an even higher high. Not sure exactly where we can go. If we do take out this high, I'll do a measurement at that time, and we'll try to look at some type of standard deviation extension or something like that. But for now, I'm expecting Nasdaq to move when ES moves, and when ES is going towards its ultimate high, I'm looking for Nasdaq to take over the high from last week and to continue. Below, it also has some areas of influence that could give it some bounce or some support. And so if we do see price start to retrace a bit, it's just looking for a fair value gap. This is on the weekly, so it may not actually get that far down. Let's see if we have one closer to us. This is the same one. Okay, so here we go. Right, so without sweeping these equal lows, which gets us into last week's range, we're in a fair value gap now, all the way down to 17,611. And if price continues to recede from there, we do have another one that we can find support from, which actually anchored price yesterday and pushed it higher. So this is from Thursday, Friday, and yesterday. All right, let's get down to the hourly. There we go. A bit more fun here. But let me go ahead and measure this full range here. All right, so I like the 50% retracement here. 50% might be a little far, so it may only go to 38, even though we're pretty close to it right now. 38 is down to 17,637. 50% is down to 17,607. But I like to see it retrace back down to the 50% level, find support. Maybe it'll wick down, keep the candle body inside of this fair value gap, and then we look for higher prices afterwards. Okay. So I think that does it for the general overlook this morning. I told you I'd finish before the opening bell. Oh, from 708. All right. Somewhere in here. New day opening gap. All right, crypto. Good luck. So your higher time frame. Oh, okay, I was looking. Where was I at? I was down at 17,608. 17,608 is where I'm looking. Okay, and you say your target is 614. Yep, I'm just below at the 50% retracement level. Excuse me. Yeah, you got a runner, so yeah, let it run and see what you get. Right, so finally the dollar breaks out of its range, or at least on the daily. Let's see. Okay, nice opening range or opening bell candle, but not as much energy as we generally see. All right, let's go back with the session highs and lows and see where we are. All right, start from the bottom. London low, swept. Asia low, swept. Previous day high, swept. London high, open. Asia high, open. Okay. 2. Hmm. Mm. Here we go. All right. All right. For the time being, just to clean things up a little bit, I'll remove the session highs and lows. We know we have high and low from London and Asia that have not been traded into. They're up in this area. So unless we trade up above the new day opening gap, we're not going to touch those areas. We also know that in 20 minutes, we'll have the New York plots on the graph there on the chart here, and we'll see what those levels are. As of right now, it looks like the levels are going to be the high end of New York at 703 and the low at 645. And while we wait on what's going on next, let's pop over and take a peek at where the dollar is so far, like what we've seen this morning. I mapped out the high and low of where it was because when I first opened the chart, we were like right here around the 50% mark. So I went ahead and said, okay, well, we're in between this zone. Let's go ahead and mark that up and see where we're going or what's going to happen next. And we see that the lower range, it pushed for lower prices first. See if that continues or if we get a retrace back into the range here, another retest of this fair value gap above. As of right now, it definitely pushed down first, continuing the retracement that we were already measuring. Through yesterday, we got just shy of 78.6%. Now we have gotten just past 83.5. So next is 88.6, and then it's full retracement there. Full retracement takes us back down to a fair value gap that we could see lift price. But before we get there, let's just continue to see if price wants to range here or if it's going to push through and actually close. All right, price was pushing lower on all indices, and we see now the opening bell is taking price higher, especially on the S&P. S&P is so far, and US 30 really have been leading the charge this morning, being a little stronger than what we see in Nasdaq. US 30, however, has retraced 50% off of the range so far. We haven't seen that in the S&P yet. We've seen a small retracement, but not nearly as much as what we see in the Dow. Nasdaq has a smaller range, so it's just hasn't done a whole lot so far. So we'll keep paying attention to it. We do have news in 20 minutes. I just wanted to show this to everyone just in case you don't have this graph on your screen. Oh, we have S&T. Okay. Mm, you go ahead and mark that up. Yep. Just one more quick announcement as it relates to the three indices. Someone pointed out that there was S&T, it was sniper. So we do see that the Nasdaq this hour has made a lower low um, over previous candles, whereas S&P and Dow both failed to make a lower low and started pushing for higher prices first. So I just wanted to clear that up. I didn't mention it. I didn't even notice it. And thank you, Sniper, for the reminder. All right. Yeah, it's actually a good idea, GC. Great idea, to be honest with you. Yeah, news is what you generally want to wait for. You want to see how price reacts and see how, where it lands as far as the PD arrays that you're looking at. Okay, for the time being, I'll put the 15-minute down in the lower left corner. Getting that open. And the 830. So the 830 is pretty much where we are now. We've failed 3 consecutive candles to get below the 830. And good morning. How's it going? Right, Armando, welcome back. Good morning. One more quick peek at where the other indices are. Right, and you can see the difference in how the candles are reacting this hour. I know we close off in another 8 minutes or so for the hourly candle, but this for Nasdaq definitely failing compared to the other two, where they have pretty much, at least on the Dow side, the Dow has taken all the highs all the way until yesterday's close. So it's pretty much made it to the yesterday's closing value. ES not quite that same level, but it has definitely swept many highs over the morning session. Whereas ES barely covered, equaling last hour's high, but didn't touch any of the other candles. So we'll keep watching ES. I'm sorry, Nasdaq, to see when it catches up. But you can see the other two indices are way out in front. And then we have the dollar. Earlier, I had shown that it broke through this range it was in and had retraced. But now it's regained its momentum and still pushing lower with 7 minutes left in the hourly candle. So just wanted to bring that up one more time just to show that it's worsening as we get closer to the news hour. Okay. Okay, I'll switch back over now. Yep. Good morning, Big Dave. News is definitely coming. You're right. All right, Slash. Welcome. You're in South Africa. Good to have you on the stream. All right. Get back up to the 5 minute. I'm gonna run and grab a cup of coffee before news is announced to make sure I'm back in time. So I'll see you in just a couple minutes. Okay, let's see where we are now. Still in the macro period and not quite at the news event yet. Hmm. Okay. Wonder if this thing's gonna take off to the upside. Or are we gonna race for these 50% levels I have marked off below? You know what? Let's go to the 5 minute. All right, 15 seconds. All right, there's that trade idea. Crypto, are you still in? Hey, no problem, Slash. Welcome. No, no, no. Nope. Nope. B, this was just a trade idea I was looking at earlier. This was not an actual trade, this short here. We're in the middle of news now. News was just announced. I would never take a trade at the start of news. Absolutely not. All right, this is the first possible turnaround area. Um, the one that was the one I was looking at first was the one a little lower down at 608. Crypto, I think you said you had a target around 614 or something like that. Yep. Yep. Let me think about where did I take it from? Okay, so I took it from here. This is where that was. When we first started this morning, this fair value gap was still available. And so I thought maybe price would trade into it and then trade out. But for the duration of our first hour, the 45 minutes we were on, it just traded in here. It wouldn't do anything else. And it wasn't until 10 o'clock that it really collapsed on us and traded lower. But no, I wouldn't have taken that trade. It's just it was a trade idea for anyone who was looking for shorts. There's 40 points almost immediately. So congrats to anyone who was in a short. I know crypto, you were already in a short from the London session, but anyone else who was in a short, congratulations on that. Let's see, what did this deliver? Okay, so it gave exactly 3.5, it looks like. Yep, 3.51 is what it delivered so far. Ah, there you go, crypto. Good job. Way to go. Was your TP, was it here at these equal lows at 616? All right, let's see where we are as far as being in between these two ranges. Okay, let's get rid of this. This, got to be kidding me. 61% of the difference between the first fib I put in the second one. That can't be right. Hmm. Absolutely, that sure was speed. 40 points in 2 minutes. Yeah, you're right. There is another one below at 573. I think it reached it reached the consequent encroachment of the middle one at, I think consequent encroachment is right around 616. I think that's where it hit. Let me just go ahead and measure what a new level would be. All right, so for the full leg, if it makes it all the way down to the 576 level that you're talking about, that's 61% retracement there. All right. And if we measure the leg just from yesterday, we're at right around 78%. Let me draw this up for everyone else too. Get to a higher time frame. You know what? I'll put it on the hour, make it easier. I want to see. All right, so on the hour, if we just take this leg starting yesterday at 11 a.m., okay, we can see we've already crossed the 50%. So I can delete this line. But we have 50% of the full leg, which is if you mounted 480 as the beginning. But for now, we're starting here at 530, which was yesterday's 11 o'clock price. Reaching the next level will be a 61% retracement, and reaching down into this fair value gap will be a 78% retracement. So if you're looking for longs here, you just have to decide whether you believe price is going to turn around at 61 or you think it's going to retrace and continue down to 78. I'm just going to keep watching and look for an indicator as to when price wants to turn around. But my next level where I'm going to start looking would be here at the 62%, which is 17,608. And just for kicks, I'll go ahead and mark this one up as well. But in the meantime, while we're here, let's still pay attention to price and see if it wants to turn around now. All right, so on every time frame, we want to make sure that we understand where price will be if it decides it wants to make a turnaround. So if we want to go bullish on the 5-minute, we're going to have to get above this level right here, 682. Okay, and before we get there, remember we have the 830 open. 830 right was resistance once, and then it broke through, and then it kind of supported price for about 4 or 5 candles, and then news came and it broke through. So let's see now if this fair value gap holds, and if it doesn't, if the 830 holds and starts pushing price lower. So pretty much something like this. Either one of these two peaks, either way, sends it lower. Okay, so that's 3.5. Originally, I had it set up as a 1 to 2 trade. So you get a 15-point stop, picked up 30 points as your stop loss, but in totality, ended up getting 55 points for whoever took that trade. So like I said, this would flip us back bullish, 682. If we now move over to the 15-minute, let's see what level would that take. About the same, 684.5. Okay, hourly still bullish, so we're good there. So it's 5 and 15. We've already marked out where we need to go as far as flipping market structure there. So we'll just hang out on the 5-minute and monitor price and see where we end up. For anyone looking for lower prices, okay, that up for you there. So essentially a run on these lows here. This could be your silver bullet if you're looking for not only a silver bullet, but you're also looking for lower prices. Okay, clinks. Oh, is it? Okay. 60 pips. Awesome. Okay. All right, slash. I'm not saying that you should take a short. I say if you want a short, we have some traders who are looking for price to go lower. So if I line that up, we also have a fair value gap right here. We had at 10 o'clock, we had a big push down, even though market structure had shifted because we made a low here, which made this the high. That was the key high for this low. And then it swept up, turning back bullish here. And then as soon as news came, boom, these lows were taken. This low right here was swept through. So it's not that we have to take a short. It's just if you're looking for a short, I was just giving a trade idea and saying you can take this trade if you're looking for a short. This is a place to enter. If you're not looking for a short, then don't sit on the sidelines and wait for a long setup. If you're looking for a long, I mentioned this line here at 681 is when price would then flip back to being bullish. So you can wait for that trigger and then look for something afterwards. Yep, yep, McAfee, absolutely. I, I hear what you're saying. Yep. Yeah, you're right, crypto. You got look like you got about 100 points on that runner. Yep. So far, even if price wants to be bullish, we haven't seen enough impulse and it hasn't created a fair value gap. I'm looking on every time frame and I don't see anything other than the 30 seconds. So only people with a premium membership to TradingView can see this. Outside of that, the price hasn't really given you any bullish movements. Okay. All right, we go back to the 5 minute, and I'm gonna just let's look at the trio again, just quickly. So remember I was talking about how the dollar finally had broken through on the lower end and was pressing and pushing. It managed to retrace all the way back and close inside of the range that I had marked up. And then the next hour, well, this current hour with news just ran the entire range back up to the top. And so even the dollar so far still has not decided what it's going to do. It looks like the 9 o'clock hour maybe have been manipulation, but potentially 10 o'clock could be manipulation. We also saw the bullish momentum from the other two, S&P and the Dow, short-lived as well. We had a big push up last hour. And then so far since the news was announced, that pretty much retraced that entire range. So we'll see where that lands. Nasdaq looks like it's trying to catch up, so they may actually get in sync soon. But we'll have to wait and see. I just wanted to make sure that everyone saw that update. And now I'm going to flip back over. Sure, Kendrick. So I have FVG, my nephew Sam, that draws the fair value gaps for you. Okay. I also have a NWOG. So it's for new week opening gap, new day opening gap. So it just, you see the yellow shaded area towards the top. That's the new day opening gap for today. So it'll always put that for you every day at 1800. It'll plot that on the chart for you. I also have this one, ICT midnight and 8:30 open. So I always know where those values are. And the other one I have is one that just gives you the session high and low. Oh, that reminds me, I didn't bring up the New York high and low after 10 o'clock open. All right, so this is where the New York low is, and this is also where we saw price pretty much stop. I mean, it pushed down, but it closed right around this area, all so far 5 candles of this hour on this 5 minute chart. Let's see, where's the New York high? All right, so the New York high is up in the new day opening gap range, all right? 702. So Asia high has not been traded to, London high has not been traded to, and the New York high has not been traded to. So those 3 highs are still open. All the lows have been traded to. So I'm going to turn this indicator back off just so it's a little cleaner. Now this indicator with session highs and lows is a paid indicator, so you won't be able to find this one. So I do apologize about that. You'll have to find another one that'll give it to you. And I do have it written down. I keep announcing it every day. All right, Kendrick, if you use that one there, you should be able to, within the options, find a way to plot all the session highs and lows. You do? Now, I got this from a particular person. TGFX previous days highs and lows. You can try it. Last time I tried it, it wasn't free, and so I had, when I was part of another person's sort of training program, it came with this indicator. But you can check it. TGFX previous day high and low, and session high and low. All right, still trading in that fair value gap. Even though we saw, I mean, we're seeing higher lows now, so we do need to be aware of that. But it could just be engineered liquidity. Get people to start joining longs, and then you see a big crash down, sweeping all these lows, and then finally bouncing off one of these levels down here. Oh, okay. Okay. Got it, crypto. So it's very similar. All right. So Kendrick, you can also try that one as well to see if you can find it, if you have a TradingView membership that comes with it. And you can use that one for a session highs and lows. Oh, okay. So that's even better. That'll make it where I only have to use one indicator. Yep. You're right, crypto. You're right about that. No, crypto. My 8:30 and that is from here. It's called ICT midnight and 8:30 open, so it's a separate indicator. Okay. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, McAfee, you're right. We'll see. I mean, these wicks definitely are not not healthy in price action. You don't want to see that, especially if you're looking for a sale. It keeps rejecting. But we are coming up on 10:30, so a lot of times, half hour after a high impact news event, you will see a reversal or something similar. So we'll continue to wait and see. Hey everyone, we are halfway through the session. If you could do me a favor and hit the like button if you haven't done so so far, that would really help out quite a bit in getting YouTube to continue to promote the channel. It's free to you. It helps out a lot. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do so as well. Make sure that you get the invitations going forward. You don't want to miss out on any invitations to the live stream. We are live streaming daily. But if anything ever changes, if we change our times or change our frequency, you want to make sure that you are up to date with when we're selecting to be online. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe and hit the like button as well. Yep, keep coming back to origin. So if you're in a trade, that would make it difficult to hold. Yep. And now we're half past the hour. See if price loosens up now. Oh, no problem. Which one did you use, crypto? Just in case you need me to show you my settings. It's called ICT midnight and 8:30 open. Let's see. Let's go into. Let's see, which one am I actually using? I don't even know which one of these I'm using. Yeah, I need to go and clean this up. Okay, it's this one here by Alpha IC Trader. Yep, there it is. Yep, Alpha ICT Trader. Yep. Hmm. Do you have these options, crypto? I don't know why I have to set mine an hour before, but for whatever reason, this is the settings I need to do to make it plot at the right time. I don't know if it's because I'm in Phoenix and we don't switch time for daylight savings, or I'm not sure. But those are my settings. Okay. Okay. All right. Let me go back in. Out script. Yep. Okay. Yep. So we got alpha ICT trader. That's 50. Not quite 61. Okay. Hmm. Oh, okay. Got it. No problem. Yeah, if you need me to throw the options up one more time, let me know. Yeah, I notice crypto a lot of times what ICT will do is he'll take the midnight open. And since you trade London, sometimes he'll use the London open as sort of a turtle soup. Or at 2 o'clock, he wants to see it run above the midnight open and then fail and then trade lower or trade below the midnight open, fail, and then trade higher. Yep. Yeah, it should be on YouTube. If not, yeah, shoot me a message on Discord and I'll send over my email. Great. Retest of 8:30. All right. So you say you want to see this as an invert. That's what we're getting from Ray as well. Oh, welcome in, Ray. Welcome to the room. Welcome back. Candle bodies on the 15-minute stayed above 50% of the fair value gap. All the fake out the low. Okay. Looking for the unicorn. All right. Let's see if we can't get it. $642 or $631. See where it goes. Gavin. Good morning, Gavin. That is what that means. You're right. Yeah. Generally, price expands in the direction it was already going. Yeah. Let's see. RVJ, good morning. How's it going? All right. Almost covered half of that wick. So let's see if price wants to turn around, or when does it want to turn around? Yeah. Crypto is, she does have a crystal ball. Yep. Hmm. Let me put the short tool back up for anyone who entered the short here. Took pretty much all hour to get this done, but it looks like that trade setup would have worked out for anyone who was looking for this short. Well, it would have worked out no matter what, whether it delivers 1 to 2 or 1 to 1 or whatever. It would have been a winning trade for whoever wanted it. It would have just taken about 35 minutes or so. Uh, yeah, Jade, I think he's 1 million or something. He's already pulled out of the market. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, Ray, this 50% mark I have here is about halfway in between that 15-minute BISI that you're hoping that price retraces into. So yeah, I had this area marked up as where I thought price may turn around. So once we get there, then we'll see how price action is, whether we get that impulse in the opposite direction or how does it behave. Come on. In 1 minute, we'll be at the macro, and then let's see what price does then. Crazy how whenever you see this stalling where it doesn't really want to get to a level that you know it wants to go to, it waits until 10 minutes before the hour and then starts its movement. Don't worry, Fuego, you'll get there. You'll get there. In seconds. Get that push downwards. It's over. Drop down, put it on a 3-minute maybe. Hold on. Crypto, when you say you trade from breaker to breaker, is that breakers on those same higher time frames, or are you taking breakers from lower time frames? Mhm. All right, let's see if price can finally break through this lower level. For anyone who took this trade, oh man, you are to be envied for enduring all of this pain, all this back and forth. It took 45 minutes all to try to get 33 points. There we go. Finally broke it. Finally delivered those points. Yeah, I saw something about that he said he was going to start that plan. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was okay. Yeah, I don't know the rules, but I know it was really small, like taking small wins every day. I think it was like $400, or it was something really small. I know that for sure. And then you build it up, and you can still end up with a sizable account at the end. Possibly so, quite possibly. Yep. Let me run and get my last cup of coffee. Everyone, want to remind you we have another hour of trading, so don't go anywhere. All right, here we go. All right, I'll remove the short tool since it's already delivered. Yeah, so this is for B. You say you missed the trade. Yeah. So what happened was when we started 10 o'clock and we shot down here, and this is on the 3 minute. I'll go back to the 5 minute, which is where it was kind of framed. So when we were on the 5 minute, this is what we were looking at. All right, we had a major move down, which swept the low that was here, and it left behind a fair value gap. And so as it trickled back up, you had plenty of opportunities to join in, only if you felt like this low right here was going to be swept. Right? If you believe that this low was gonna be traded to, then you wanted to take a short from up here, and this was your entry. Your stop loss would have been above this candle, this 955 candle. Put your stop right there, and then you would have targeted a 1 to 2 trade. Oops. So you'd have put it right here at the bottom edge, stretch your stop loss right there. Right, 2. So you want a 1 to 2 trade, risk reward. And then you just had to wait. You had to endure a lot of pain too. It came from 1010 and it didn't finally deliver until was that 1050 candle. So it took you 40 minutes. You would have had to wait on it. But it did give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 opportunities. Yeah, 6 opportunities to trade. So oftentimes what you'll see is sometimes I'll give you a trade idea, and it doesn't mean that that's a trade I'm taking. It really depends on how you're feeling about the market and where you think the next price point is, where's the draw in liquidity. And from there, the trade setups that I propose, you're either taking them or you're skipping and waiting for the next one. So don't worry, don't feel bad. Just wait for the next one, and we'll see where price is headed. All right, Antonio, good morning. Welcome in. Mm, yep. Yep. And so, Gavin, what you want to do is at each of those levels, you want to then go into a lower time frame and see if you see price start to turn around and push the other direction. Nope, no, I didn't take this one. B, I didn't take this one. I lined it up and said if anyone's looking for a short, here you go. I was looking for a long, so I'm waiting for price to turn around. So I had these levels marked up. Now I could have taken a short down to these levels, but I didn't. See where everyone else is so far. I will take a trade that day if I can get a good retracement. But if it's one of those where price retraces to like the 38% level and then continues to take off every time, I do miss a lot of those because the higher probabilities are the ones with more than 50% retracement. So that does present an issue for me as far as getting in on those classic days. Um, I'm still working on it. I'm still trying to get better entries or to feel more confident in continuing as opposed to it reversing. So we'll see. We'll see how it works. I don't think we ever clicked back to see what the news actually delivered. All right. Job openings greater than expected and consumer confidence slightly better than expected. Much better than last month. Okay. So a little of a conflict there. So below expectations on the first event and above expectations on the second and third event. Okay. And reversals are my favorite too. The problem is I fall in love with them, and so I'm always looking for it. And so when you get a classic buy or back classic sell day, the reversal never really happens, and so it just continues on, and you always feel like you missed your opportunity. I'm trying to look more at higher time frames for Confluence now, and hope that helps direct me a little better. So any help you can give is appreciated, and I'm just gonna keep working at it and see if I can't get better. Usually I'm looking for retracements on the current day range. So like a session. Yep, you're right. You are absolutely right. The odds of continuing is greater than reversals. Right, another minute and a half on this macro. Let's see what we get, where it finishes. Mm, let's see. How did London play today? Yeah. Yep. Crypto, you see how the midnight open? You see how London, what starts at 2 o'clock, traded below, and it came and traded just above, only to carry on its business. So give you the little turtle soup. And then we kind of got the same thing with the 8:30. You got the opening bell, traded above, only to then sweep all the lows and give you a very similar type setup. So I think that's why ICT likes the midnight and the 8:30 open, because the London and the New York Open both likes to play off of those levels. Okay. Yeah, GC. I think if you get a couple of those right, where you get the reversal right at like a 10:30 move or something, and you do it a couple times, I think you do kind of fall in love with the fact that maybe you can see a turnaround, especially if you've missed the move, right? You don't want to jump in late. But if you've caught the turnaround a couple times, I think you do fall in love with that setup. And so the ICT 2022 model is what a lot of people have learned, and that was sort of the introduction into his trading. And that's in a lot of cases, that's really what the 2022 does. Is it does a sweep of liquidity, and then you get an energetic move to the other direction. All right, I'm still looking for it to touch down at 607, and then see how we behave there, and potentially get down to 573, 574. Hmm. Let me just pop over to the other charts one more time. And I want to direct this to especially Crypto Queen, because she said that after consolidation comes expansion. And so look at what we have with the Dow, look at what we have with S&P, and look at what we have with the dollar. Right? So we had a down move, consolidation. So we would expect after the consolidation is done, maybe a sweep of a high, which it's already done, but maybe it'll do it again and trade a little higher in here, and then a sweep down. And then potentially over here, we could either get just whenever Nasdaq is ready to go, because Nasdaq is the one that is retracing back into a discounted price zone, as well as sweeping lows. So maybe when Nasdaq is ready to go, then you just see the Dow take off, and same for S&P. So that's what I'm looking at right now, is whether these others that are in consolidation are going to want to break out soon, and then all will just kind of follow suit. Even though we didn't get a lot of consolidation, I mean, we did get some consolidation, but it was kind of like trickling down. We hit the fair value gap. We had a big rejection out, retest one more time, potentially sweep some lows, get down to a further point of discount, and then we could see higher prices. If not, what we're going to see is a failure on these sides, and so far we just haven't seen that. So I'll continue to watch all four of these. I have them on my other monitor, and I'll go from there. Okay. Thanks, crypto. $328 ticks on the day. Ooh, sounds like 80 points to me. Yep, I hear you, GC, right there. Oh man. Well, if you've been up since lunch, yeah, you need a break. Not since lunch. You've been up since London. Yeah, you need a break for sure. Did you trade the entire lunch session or did a London session, or did you get in late, so sort of like 4 in the morning, or were you there, at the right when it opened up at 2? Hmm. You got to be kidding me. So this trade setup, if it delivers a 1 to 2, would deliver exactly to the middle point between these two liquidity points to the tick. That's interesting. If you believe that price is going down here, then yes, you want to enter somewhere in the fair value gap. But you want to, if you enter in here, you want to get in right here at the very edge. So at 17,642. You don't want to get in where it is now. You'll already miss 12 points, which you'll have to add to your stop loss because your stop loss still needs to be up at 667. So if you ever want to get in, you definitely want to make sure you're getting in at the edge or somewhere in between. You can even wait for a 50% retracement into the fair value gap if you want to reduce your risk. Just remember, it won't always retrace all the way 50%. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But if you want to wait for it, it'll help out your risk model. But definitely don't enter down here. It's a bad entry, and it'll just start habits that you don't want. Right. So if you do want to enter, get in a habit of not hitting the button. So none of this up here, limit orders and things. What you want to do is you do want to do limit orders. You don't want to do market execution. So you always want to set everything up, right click, create a limit, and then do what you need to do. Okay. Oh, okay. Which screen is logged into my, hmm. There we go. Glad I realized that. That would have sucked if I tried to get into a trade and it told me I wasn't logged in. That's better. But yeah, you definitely want to make sure you're doing limit orders and not market execution if you're trying to enter. For me, I'm waiting for when price gets down to 607. I want to see how it reacts here at 607. $85. All right, since the top of the hour, we really just have had 4 consecutive candles that are just wicks with very small candle bodies on it. We now see potentially a bigger push this time back into this fair value gap, bearish fair value gap at that. Okay, we had a closure really close to the fair value gap. So let's see how the next candle opens. Keep in mind it's a 5-minute candle, so it does have time to develop. But let's just see how it opens. Okay, open up right on top. Oh, you're into? Okay. All right, big bro. Good job. This is placing. Oh, wow. All right. So Dow has decided it wants to take off on us. I'll pop over and show you where we are. See, look at where Dow is. Pushing for the highs of yesterday. Not too far away. We do have the S&P also pushing higher. There we go. Okay, S&P pushing higher as well. Just looking at previous session highs is where it's going. Nasdaq is still trailing well behind. Um, we did get a close last hour inside of the fair value gap, but so far this hour still we don't see the type of momentum that we saw over here with the Dow or what we're seeing with the S&P. The dollar is selling to start off this hour. Not surprising, but it's not. It doesn't have a large range yet, so not a whole lot to speak about. But I really want to highlight what the Dow is doing, and then how it appears that S&P may be following. Right. And so for me, when we have this type of price action where they're not aligned fully, for me, that's almost a no-go to trade. I mean, I still look at setups and think about where I may want to enter or what I may want to do, but I don't expect for there to be low liquidity price runs. Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, it's something I've been using for probably 6 months now or so. Just to let me just quickly glance over it and see where they are. All right, big bro. This is a big trade here. It's big range. Boom. 50 points down to 591. That's yep. So just make sure you manage your trade effectively. Uh-oh. Absolutely. Yeah, no. Yep. This is a sale. This is definitely a sell. This red area, it's your stop loss. Your take profit is down here. But that was at the 5 minute. So if you took it at a lower time frame, let's look and see what that might have been. Okay, let's just see if you did this one. Okay, that would allow you to at least have a smaller stop. And in that case, your 1 to 2 would be exactly to the tick down at this 50% level that I'm looking for price to meet. So let's see if it gets down there. But that also means this fair value gap needs to hold. The lower 50% needs to hold. All right, S&P looking for session highs. Nasdaq's already taken out yesterday's daily high and all session highs today. Mhm. $17,655. All right, everyone, about 30 minutes left in this morning session. If anyone has any questions they've been burning to ask and just haven't done it, go ahead and ask that now so we can get those questions answered and make sure that you are good to go for this afternoon session. Anyone brand new to the chat, make sure you go ahead and subscribe as well so you also get reminders for all future sessions. If you haven't liked the video, do that as well. We're going to make sure that YouTube knows that the people in this room are enjoying the content, and that they can go ahead and continue to promote it to others, and they will also enjoy it once they discover us. So the like button really helps out there. The subscribe button is for you to make sure that you always get invitations for the live stream. Sweet. All right, it's happening. Thank you guys. Thank you everybody for helping out so much. All right, so this 3-minute one didn't hold. A lot of wicks to the downside. Not exactly comforting if you're in a short. However, you could see them all swept at the same time. Let's just go ahead and line up what that looks like. All right, DB. Oh, and I said a low resistance liquidity run. Is that what you're talking about, Frank? Oh, okay. Good reminder, Crypto. Yes, for everyone who is subscribed, make sure you have the notifications on. Otherwise, it'll forget to remind you about the sessions every day. So make sure you have the notifications on. Yep, Frank. So when I say low resistance liquidity run, what I mean is, yep. So that was it. So what happens is when you have all the indices aligned and also moving opposite of the dollar, you get movements like this, where there's clearly a price that it wants to get to, and it gets there fairly quickly without resistance, as opposed to a situation like this, where let's say this was a price it wanted to get to and we're up here. It just took its time getting there, retracing, getting there, retracing, or you get something like this where a price wanted to get down low, but look at how much consolidation it took here. Then you got a big move and you got pretty much a full retracement back up, move back down, more consolidation, and you're trying to get to a low. So this is what they consider high resistance. So it's just very difficult to get to where you're trying to get to, as opposed to being able to just go right in that direction. And so when you get it where price is not aligned, or the Dow is going up and Nasdaq is going down, you end up with this kind of price action. So it still may go to target, but again, to go from where we originally looked at a sell here to get down here took 40-45 minutes. In low resistance, that same trade would have taken anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. Yep. Yep. So when everything aligns up and price is ready to move, that's when the low resistance comes up and you just see price take off and every candle is moving in that direction. All right. We've been sitting at 100 people in the room for the last 5 or 10 minutes. So that's a good sign. Great sign, actually. Right. So if we see price break down here, this would definitely be what we see as a high resistance, because it's just taking so much time to get there. It's building its way up only to then crash down, as opposed to just moving in that direction. Let's go back and see where, okay, dollar still selling so far this hour. Very much range bound though. It's still in that same range that I had marked out before the session started. It traded down below the range, closed back in. Then it traded above the range, closed back inside. Mhm. Oh, busy is buy side uh, imbalance, sell side inefficiency, or buy side inefficiency. Yeah, buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. It's just a bullish fair value gap, Frank. So whenever you see the fair value gap form and it's green, that's a bullish for. I don't have any on the screen right now, but that would be a bullish fair value gap. And a SIBI is a bearish fair value gap. So it stands for sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency. Another ICT term. All right, want to see if this is short-lived or if this is going to be a continuation where it'll continue to push lower. Right, again, the trend line is not for any type of entry. It's just to see when price changes its current trend. Hmm. Right, see where this candle closes since it's already regained the trend line. Okay, so we still see bullish momentum on the equity side, with the exception of Nasdaq. So the Dow and S&P are still bullish, still strong. We do see price melting on the Nasdaq, and we also see about a 50% retracement of the last hour's range for the dollar. Once this candle closes, then I'll pull up the other chart just so we can take a peek at those once again. Again, we want to see where this candle closes. Okay. 30 seconds. Okay, now 10 seconds. Right, as promised, let's jump over here for just a quick moment. We'll jump back in a second. Let's see where we are. So yeah, this is the dollar I was saying. So ran down, closed back inside, ran up, closed back inside, and now it's just sitting in the middle of the zone, been trading off this hour so far. So we're 45 minutes in, and it's been trading back until about 50% of this candle's body. Right, so it could just be a retracement for higher prices later, but we'll wait and see. But for now, we definitely see that it's been bearish this hour. Um, that's also allowed the Dow to just run away from price where it was earlier. After sweeping the highs of yesterday, it just has continued this hour, being extremely strong. Now we have the S&P also doing the same. So if it is able to eclipse the last 2 hours high, which it's right at now, then it's just, we have equal highs at 49.55. And then 49.57 would be, it looks like the London high. Nope, actually Asian high from last night. So we're still looking at Nasdaq to see when it's going to catch up with the rest or if it wants to join the party. But for now, it's showing to be pretty weak at the moment. Yep, so we'll see what the lunch hour brings. But for now, yep, Nasdaq is definitely weak. So we're going to bounce back to where we were. Anyway, another candle. We want to see where this candle closes as well. Okay, another 50 seconds. This candle will close. We'll see if we're above or below the trend line and then what we think that's going to mean for price. Yep. Since the opening bell, the high has been around 10:30. We traded back up to the 8:30 open price and rejected immediately from there, creating a high just before 11 o'clock. Okay, another 20 seconds on this candle. Great. Another retracement, closure below. So we just can't continue on. We now want to see the next candle. Where does it close? Because so far each candle is not really giving us any additional information. It keeps rejecting the trend line, but so far it's not making new lows or anything. All right, S&P has taken over those values. So now the S&P is looking at the Asia high. The London high has already been taken. Looking at the Asia high now. Remember, we looked this morning, and for Nasdaq, we have all three highs. All three session highs are still open. New York first, then London, then Asia. If we're looking at sequential moving higher, let's see if we still have them on the charts. Now I would have to bring them back up. We'll see them here. Okay, we have the New York high at 703. We have the London high 721, and we have the Asia high at 735. Okay, so if we see price start to move up, whether it's at lunchtime or early on in the afternoon session, we do have some levels that we can look for. obviously before we even get there. So after the New York highs, we have the midnight high before London, but then Asia afterwards. Let me just take this off, clean up our screen a bit, and we'll come back to it if we start to see higher prices. Okay, let's get back down to where we were. Okay, another minute on this candle. A larger view of price action. Yeah, let's go back up to the 5-minute here. Okay, about 10 minutes left in the session. If you are brand new, I see we have some new viewers that joined in the last 20 minutes or so. If you're brand new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We do live stream every day. You want to make sure you're getting those invitations. Hmm. Yeah, the last session, PM, New York afternoon, 15-minute fair value gap. Yep. Mm-hmm. The large range, but it's been sitting in it all morning. So it looks like it's, what is it? 31. It's about 35-point range. But yes, you're right. You're right, Caveman. This has been the morning sort of stopping ground of support that it's found. Has not been able to break through the lower region and close below. It has pushed through it several times, but has not closed yet. Another 2 minutes on this candle. I did move up to the 5-minute chart, so yeah, it's taking a little longer for the candle to close. But we want to see where this candle closes, and then if we see any continuation. 17,655 unicorn. Okay. I do sometimes. I do sometimes. So, for instance, if there was a level that I wanted to hit, like for instance, let's say this is the level, this purple line. I said when it gets to this level, I think this may be a reversal area, right? So if it pushes down and there's a bearish fair value gap, then I'm expecting price to now reverse and want to go through. So even though I see that fair value gap there, I'm not expecting it to hold. So then if price does push through it, then you want to carry that fair value gap across and use it on the other side as an inversion. So in that case, when I'm expecting it not to hold, then I will use it. Yep. All right, so this is the biggest push downwards that we've seen in quite some time. Again, closure is important. So we have another 20, 25 seconds. Let's see where it lands. So equal lows here, just taken. Another set of relative equal ones here as well, down at 625 up to 628. DB, look at you. Anytime, Frank. If you have more questions, go ahead and throw it in. Glad that you're able to get some of your questions answered. Okay, after the last closure, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this trend line. It's not necessary any longer. All right, let's see. Your big bro, did you take this trade, or were you a bit hesitant? Okay, I'll go ahead and mark up the next level to break on its way down. And oddly enough, that looks like about half of it. So that's a 1-to-1 trade. Right at just shy of 50%. So if we make it down to 17,625, you can look at potentially closing your trade if you're okay with 17 points, or if you're looking for more, look for a continuation. Okay, all right, Ray. So you're saying if we close below the 15, below the 15-minute busy that we've been in all morning, then you're going to be looking for some type of retracement into a short on a lower time frame. Okay, Tommy. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. All right. Looks like we're going to close somewhere around where we've been pushing all hour. So this is just our final view heading into lunch. I won't be on during lunch, but I'm sure many of you will still be at the charts. So just take one more peek at where we are. So we did see Dow push really high past yesterday's highs. We saw the S&P sweep all highs for today, not yesterday's highs, but it did get the early sessions. And Nasdaq just was extremely weak this morning and didn't have much bullish activity at all. And then on the dollar side, like I said, we got a retracement to 50% of the last hour's candle body. So it'll probably close somewhere around there, and we'll see what the next hour brings. But at least we know it's retraced 50% of the body. And it was a pretty sizable wick here too. So in total, the retracement is probably closer to 60%. So that will conclude our session this morning. Go ahead and let everyone go. I'll take an hour break. We'll come back at 1300. There should be an invitation. already out there for the afternoon session. Again, if you have not subscribed, go ahead and do so. Make sure the invitations always come your way, and you can always be a part of our journey. So thank you everyone for your energy this morning. Thank you for trading with us, and I'll see you in an hour. Cheers, everyone.